Listen, I have no problem at all to admit when I'm wrong or not. This is the recording device, if you're curious. Anyway, I have no problem to admit when I'm wrong. And the Fallout TV show had some good parts. It was actually really good up until the last 1.5 episodes. Then, well, so I was wrong about the color schemes and some of the other things I talked about here. It looked really well, the tone of it was really good, it felt really, Fallout tone. Yet, I will not be gaslit into thinking it was some sort of masterpiece like Lord of the Rings, Scrubs, How I Met Your Mother, for example. And very much like How I Met Your Kino, it too was really good up until the last 1.5 episodes. Because this makes no sense. And here is why.
And in before the, oh, so one lore part makes you think the whole show sucks? Yes, I will. This part is so bad that it would be as if in the last Harry Potter film, Dudley 360 no-scopes Voldemort during the awkward hug scene. After, as that hug scene is pure Kino. And furthermore, I feel the same way about Game of Thrones. It's, the last few episodes are the parts I have a problem with. That makes me not want to rewatch it and makes me feel like, okay, this led up to nothing.
We learned that in Fallout New Vegas, Mr. House, this guy from the show, has these lasers that shoots down nuclear missiles, but he misses 2 of them, which is why there's some destruction in New Vegas. That used to be Las Vegas, obviously. And that's why, it's not as ruined as other places in the Fallout world. Now, when he gets the platinum ship that the main character of that game is supposed to deliver to him, if he had gotten it, it would have, he says in the game that no nuclear missiles would have hit. But then you can say something, let me steelman this argument as well as I can. Then one might say,
But New Vegas isn't bombed, it's clearly still standing.
true, it isn't destroyed by nuclear missiles, I grant that. Yet, as we see by the post-credit scene, something has gone down there. Now, it stands to reason that after you help Mr. House to beat the NCR and Legion, that you do get the extra lasers that would have shot down any advancing army. But then, there are other endings in it. You might not have had mine, Boss Bay, true canon ending, which is fine. But am I to believe that the NCR, if they beat, if you join up with them, that they don't get this laser somehow? That they don't go in and get that technology themselves? Of course they will. And the same obviously goes if you go for an independent New Vegas like Yes Man ending, or which end up with, you killing Withers from Baldur's Gate 3. And here's another quick fact for those of you that may not know. The NCR has a massive army. And this is one of the issues in the game that you have to tackle. And the Lucky 38 is where Mr. House's base is at. So not only the lasers that it has, but there's another thing he has, which brings me to the next point. Mr. House's massive robot army. Now, these robots are very tricky at the start of the game and gets harder towards the end of the game if you choose to upgrade them with the platinum ship. So I was doing some research because I wanted to know how many Securitrons, they're called Securitrons, by the way, I should have mentioned that. How many Securitrons are there? Are there like 50, 5,000? So I went into Reddit and someone did some math and some lore, and the comment reads,
That's not what makes the Securitrons terrifying though. What does it is that they do not have break lines. They do not lose morale. And they need neither food nor rest. It's one of the most terrifying kind of opponents. Imagine a column of troops marching towards the Mojave through the long 15. or better, driving through it on trucks, to suddenly come under fire. Missiles tear into trucks, sending chunks of soldiers flying everywhere, followed by precision Gatling laser rifle. Finally, the Securitron slowly roll up and chuck grenades into the burning vehicles, leaving just a handful of survivors. Securitrons make shock and awe attacks possibly once more. That's where the strength lies. And I will also add here really quick, because I realized when I was shooting the video that this one didn't talk about specifically how many Securitrons there were. The thread said about 1,000 Securitrons, but there is no official number in the game. They just sort of made a rough analysis. But I agree reading through it, but I concede that someone who is more well-read on the lore could come up with a lower or higher number than that.
And I agree with this guy's comment completely. I like it because I like this comment a lot because it also explains the horror of these Securitrons going up against them. Point here is this: am I to believe that any army could beat these things? This takes place before the TV show. Mr. House would have built more. Or if you were, independent Boss Bay courier, you would have built more yourself. But who would beat these? Not even a ghoul could beat these things.
Yet, Kayako, my dear, there are multiple endings to Fallout New Vegas, not only the Mr. House ending.
Sure, if one goes with the Legion ending, there are no Securitrons. Where is the Legion? I saw none of them in the show. None of them. For obvious reasons, because they're a bunch of sexists. Andrew Tates, essentially. So, I understand why that's a little too, strong for Hollywood's taste in today's day and age. Fine, I get that. But the Legion is nowhere. If the Legion had made it, and that was the canon that the TV show wanted to go with, then they would have destroyed Shady Sands, not, Kyle MacLachlan, or as the true people know him as, Detective Cooper from Twin Peaks. Wouldn't have had to destroy Shady Sands. The Legion would have destroyed it long ago. There would be no NCR. Which brings me to the next point. Apparently, if Shady Sands fall, the whole of NCR falls? Okay. All the other settlements are just gone? They just disappear. They just, Shady Sands gone. We give up. Bye. And that requires its own video, but let's just say I grant that somehow Detective Cooper has access to nukes now, or some sort of bomb that can just destroy Shady Sands, but still somehow remove 2 children from Shady Sands, which we would have to assume is nuclear somehow, because otherwise why would Lucy's mom be a ghoul? But let's say I grant all that. Let's say, yeah, he had, let's say even this could even maybe, I don't think so, but let's say Mr. House has some tactical mini nuke or something, or I don't know, modded Nora from Fallout 4 sat down at Shady Sands. Let's go with that. Modded Nora, CBE body, sat down in Shady Sands. That's what happened. Let's say I grant that. Okay, modded Nora destroyed Shady Sands. Horrible. Okay. Millions must. Anyway, it is for another video. Because honestly, that awful commie bitch. I hated her. I was supposed to hate her, right? The TV show made a fantastic job for me to hate this commie bitch. My courier would have killed her 5 minutes in. 5 minutes in, she would have died. When my courier would have met her. She's so annoying. It's not like I'm some go around, joining and, screaming about how much we must destroy communism or something. I still think we should, but I'm not that much anti-commie. It's just that this particular commie was the most annoying part of the show. And I was so happy when she died. Jesus. So, let's sum these points out pretty quickly as I can. I'm quite worthy, as you have noticed by now. New Vegas cannot be destroyed because of Mr. House's space lasers, the Securitrons, and just because the Shady Sands falls does not mean that Las Vegas falls or New Vegas falls, and it's not ruined. So even if we go with the logic that, we know our jokes, blah blah blah, that it was Mr. House that did it, right? How would New Vegas fall? Like, it makes no sense. So similarly to the Harry Potter 360 no scoping Dudley, it makes no canonical sense. And I haven't, this is the part 2, right? I haven't even mentioned the lore implications of what happens if New Vegas is just gone now. It's just dead, everyone's gone. Boone, gone. Veronica, gone. EDE, gone. Awesome Cyberdoggu, gone. Arcade, gone. Cassidy, gone. Remember, kids, none of the stuff you did really mattered in the end then, I guess, because Amazon wanted to destroy the entire legacy. You traversing the Mojave with your trusty canteen? Didn't matter. You having to solve the Israel-Palestine conflict? Didn't matter. Boone getting revenge and then growing as a character? Didn't matter. That awful 5-hour mission of clearing out the ghouls from the Repcon facility just because some Nightkin was too lazy to talk to some ghoul? Didn't that matter. You, if playing as a female, having to go through the Andrew Tate experience at the fort just to meet Andrew Tate himself at the end? Didn't matter. Having to sort out senile robots? Didn't matter. Having to relive D-Day in a video game that's not Call of Duty? Didn't matter. Playing the PT demo did not matter. Because New Vegas is gone. And then I can't even imagine how, playing for Fallout 2 feel. I mean, a lot of that game revolved around saving Shady Sands. Not the majority, of course. But, now I guess it did not matter for them either. The point there being that you spent a lot of time trying to save Shady Sands. I haven't played Fallout 2, but that's from what I heard. So, I mean, I might be owned on this point. I concede that. But can you just imagine, that you try to save? Because New Vegas, I mean, I concede it might be fine, at the end. It might be, that makes canonical sense. I will get to that in a moment. But can you just imagine that? Fallout 2 with its, weird mechanics, to say the least, only to have some power-drunk maniac destroy it. And I'm not talking about Agent Cooper here. Then again, this is the same company that made Rings of Power. With all of that said, what if I told you that there is a way for this to make canonical sense? There is a way for people like me to just be, we're done. That there is a god tier argument for New Vegas being destroyed, abandoned, making perfect sense. But that will have to wait for another video. I'm gonna go get some coffee. Until then, let's jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle, jingle.